Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Heather Lewis, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to take any type of paint, whether it's a chalk paint, a furniture paint, or not, and be able to use it on your furniture. If that's something you're interested in, just keep watching. Hello everyone, here is the dresser we are going to be working on today. It is a 5-drawer oak dresser, I believe, and I got this piece at Goodwill for only $20. It's in really good condition, just a bit outdated, so we're going to give it some color today. First, we had to start by taking off this darn Goodwill sticker. Luckily, it didn't leave behind any sticky residue, but Goodwill always has these stickers on them. Then it was time to take off the hardware. One really nice thing about these wooden knobs is that they usually come off pretty loose just by twisting them. So for this hardware, there is no need for a screwdriver. You can see that I'm also pulling out the drawers as I take the hardware off to prepare for cleaning. Whenever you're taking the drawers out, it's always a good idea to mark or label the drawers. They can look the same size, but then when you go back to put them in, nothing is working. I'll usually mark the bottom where the drawer slide is so it's not visible. Surprisingly, a lot of the time someone has already done that for you, so it's always a good idea to check. The next step in prep work is cleaning. More than 99% of the time, you'll see me using Dawn dish soap and warm water. It's important to do this before any paint goes on, so you're not rubbing dirt and dust deeper into the piece. Make sure you get everywhere though, including the drawers. And after cleaning it off with the soap, make sure you go back and rinse it off with just warm water, just to make sure there's no soap residue left behind. Once the piece has dried up from cleaning, it's important to give it a scuff sand. Preferably, I'd take it outside to do this part, but because it's getting cold here in Minnesota, I'm opting to do it inside, and then I'm just gonna have to clean up afterwards before paint goes on. I'm using a 220 grit so that it slightly roughens up the surface, making it perfect for the paint to adhere to. This includes the top, the sides, the areas where the drawers lay, as well as the drawer fronts, because we're going to be putting paint everywhere. Then of course, after sanding, make sure that you're going back in with some sort of cloth, or for me, I like to use microfiber towels because it picks up on the sand dust. You really want to make sure you grab that before you apply the wet paints, otherwise it can show some yellow tannins that you aren't going to want with your paint. For priming, I'm using the Zinsser 3-2-1 primer. It's smooth to apply and works really great, and it's also cheaper than a lot of the other primers I've seen out there. I get the gallon size every time because it makes the most sense for me, but you can also get it in smaller sizes. I started out with the quart size, but I quickly moved up to the gallon size. I highly recommend trying this primer at least once. So if you haven't yet had the chance to try it out, I will leave a link to it down in my description box, so make sure you check that out. You can also see that I'm rolling my primer on. When I first started flipping, I only painted it on because I was worried about texture, but after that first time, I've been hooked on rolling. I think that it's the quickest, it's the easiest, and now it is definitely my go-to. I just put tinfoil in my tray for easier cleanup, and when I'm done, I'll put my rolling pad into a plastic bag so that I can reuse it 3 to 4 times before having to throw it out. Now for the fun part. I got this gallon-sized Sherwin-Williams paint at Lowe's in the discount section for only $9. An entire gallon for only $9, that's crazy. It doesn't have a color name on it, but I would describe it as a rusty rose type color. Although I am a bit disappointed because the camera did a very poor job representing the true color throughout the video, but regardless, it is a really pretty color. As always, before you do anything else, make sure that your paint is really stirred up and mixed up so that nothing is sitting on the top or the bottom. Today we are also going to be using this BB Frosch paint transformer. I may have said that wrong. But it claims to make any type of paint into a chalk paint. So I poured some of my paint into this glass jar and put 2 tablespoons of water into my plastic container. To make the mixture, I put 3 heavy spoonfuls of powder into the water and mixed it up. Then I tossed it into my paint. I felt like it needed a bit more, so I put another small spoonful in it and mixed it up really well. You do want to make sure it's super mixed up so that you aren't putting chunks of paint onto your piece, because that wouldn't be any good. So I made sure to mix it, as well as putting a lid on the jar and shaking it up super well. Once the paint was all set up and the primer was dry, I started to apply the paint to my dresser. It was going on really smooth, and it definitely felt like a chalk styled paint. After the first coat was dry, I opted out of sanding in between coats because the first coat felt really smooth already, so I just got straight into the second coat. Of course, whenever you're putting paint on something, it's always important to seal your piece to help prevent everyday wear and tear. I am using the clear matte polyacrylic. Because this container was almost empty, I decided to mix some of my color straight into it. I don't really have parts for measure, I just kind of eyeball it. Some people only mix color in with dark colors, but I like to do it regardless of shade because it also seconds as a third layer of paint. Poly is super thin and dries very fast, so make sure you're always checking your work for drips and go back when you need to, just so that it doesn't dry with drips on your piece. Usually I don't show this, but I decided to change out the hardware with these cute polka dot knobs. I got them from Hobby Lobby, and in my store on Mondays, hardware is 50% off, so I got each knob for about $1.50. Now that all the hardware is on, it's time to get these drawers in the dresser and get ready for the final reveal. I'm a little disappointed that the camera shows off an orangey brown color instead of the true color, which is a rusty rose color. It might just be the lighting, but regardless, it is a gorgeous color. I think the hardware tied it all together perfectly. And this dresser would be so cute in a nursery or a little girl's room. The knobs just pull it all together. But I know what you guys are here for. If you're here till the end, you're waiting to hear about the numbers. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I got this dresser for $20 at Goodwill. I got the hardware at Hobby Lobby for $15, and the Sherwin-Williams paint was from Lowe's. I got it for $9 because it was in the discount section. Someone must have bought it and didn't like the color, so they brought it back, and that's where the discount section comes in. And so I did get it for $9, but I didn't use, compared to the whole gallon size, I used practically nothing. So I will give it $1 into my costs. I feel like that is crazy to say because I'm used to spending $20 to $30 for paint like this, and it kind of feels unheard of to me. But I was able to make that happen because of the paint transformer from BB Frosch that I got, and that was $12. But then again, I didn't use all of that either. I think I'll be able to use it 3 or 4 more times. So I'm gonna say I put $4 of the paint transformer into this project as well. Otherwise, the rest of the materials I already had, and a lot of it is stuff that I am able to reuse over and over again. So that is all of the materials and the costs, making our all-in total at $40. I plan on selling this dresser in the $275 to $300 range on Facebook Marketplace, which would make our profits roughly $250, depending on what I actually price it at. I would say that's a pretty good profit, and I highly recommend that you guys try out this paint transformer, as well as checking out your local Lowe's. Using this strategy will make your flips super cheap. So if you'd like to try out that paint transformer, I will leave a link to it in my description box down below, as well as any other products that I use throughout this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Otherwise, that's going to be it for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.